And the other thing is that love, literally, falling in love changes your partner. Where your partner, before he falls in love, you only see his good side. You only see the side that he shows to people when he's under control, when his emotions aren't so intense that they want to control you. But as soon as he falls in love, something comes out. And that thing is... All right, people, this is Alex, and today we're going to be talking about the fact that falling in love is a little darker than you would expect. All right? It's almost like when you look into every industry is darker than you expect. Every person is darker than you expect, right? I'm not saying that they're black, right? I'm saying inside, people are always hiding their dark side. Just like houses, whenever you see a house from the outside, everything looks perfect. Everything looks like everything inside is perfect from the outside, but when you look inside, it has shitty plumbing. It has a lot of rats. It has a lot of cockroaches, right? It has Alex as your roommate. I'm kidding, right? I'm actually a decent roommate. But that's the point, is that on the outside, falling in love looks beautiful. But on the inside, there's something else going on the inside that you have no idea. That when you see, you may not want that you may want to unsee, because falling in love is the source of a lot of problems in today's society, which is unfortunate. And I want to thank my Patreon supporter who suggested this video. This person paid $25 a month to suggest videos. And for $25 a month, this person asks questions. And I make a video about it, like this one. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, you guys can just click on the description down below where it says work with me one-on-one. And you guys can talk to me on the phone. So, first things first. When you fall in love, you are replaying your childhood and attempting to either be the child or the parent. Just imagine how perverted this is, right? Imagine how perverted this is. Because this is literally what goes on in the mind of a person whenever they're holding you, right? When you're holding a woman, as an example, you're naturally, and she's on your lap as an example, you're naturally, deep down, you are imagining the emotions that are motivating the desire to hold her is the same emotion that will motivate you to hold a child, right? The wiring of taking care of a vulnerable individual is the same wiring that you have when you're trying to take care of a child. In fact, that wiring is specifically there for children. For vulnerable children. But the thing is that it's repurposed for other things. It's repurposed to help our friends when they're in need. It's repurposed that whenever we're holding a woman, it's repurposed in order to feel that connection, and also to get turned on at the fact that she's vulnerable, attractive, and on top of you. There's almost like a very perverted aspect, an infantile perspective when it comes to showing love to somebody. We are literally replaying, and we're even imagining to a certain point, it's a child. Please, it sounds so perverted, right? But we call them baby. Even men suck on the woman's nipple. That's a fucking kid shit. That's a fantasy. It's kind of crazy, right? Because the foundation of attraction has almost infantile origins. We want to replicate our relationship with our parents. Anything that replicates this vulnerable child to parent relationship is attractive and hot, right? Like when women dress up as the adorable little girl trying to gain daddy's attention. Hey, daddy, that's little girl and dad. That's perverted, motherfuckers. That's taboo shit. Right? But that's really the origins of it. As a child, it brings, whenever you're in love and you fall in love, or whenever you love your parents, it brings out uncontrollable emotions when you fall in love with somebody, right? Feelings of vulnerability that we naturally don't like. So it could easily, in some people, outside of having infantile origins, like even when you're having sex with a woman, like the mercenary position, right? If you notice, it sounds so fucking crazy. People, be careful with this. I'm only saying this because of the connections. It's very similar to When a kid is like cleaning up a kid, goddamn it, right? I may get canceled for this video, man. Let me know how this sounds, so I stop the live stream if it sounds really perverted. But it's like it's the dark side of falling in love, right? So yeah, so it a lot of what's considered sexy has infantile origins. Pretty much what I'm trying to tell you, and it's a little perverted. So another thing when you fall in love is that it brings out uncontrollable emotions, like I said, feelings of vulnerability that we don't like, which could trigger mental episodes in some people. And if you want to be able to trigger those intense emotions, actually, you guys can actually check out some of my courses that I have. Is this the? All right. Yeah. You can check out some of my courses that I have. Which one is this? Right. It's called Natural Chemistry. Right. It's a course that I have specifically for women who are single and in relationship. Who are in relationships. This course will teach you how to create that intense obsession with a man, right? It's only $99 and 30-day money-back guarantee. And the other course is the Psychological Game of Attraction, which is a course that I made specifically for women for women who are single, all right? And this course would teach you everything about the dating game. If you're somebody who don't know the dating game, you guys can purchase, and it's only $99, 30-day money back guarantee. All right. So let's talk about the next part. It brings out the dark side in your partner. So outside of falling in love and what you consider to be hot, has infantile, it's kind of crazy, has infantile origins, right? Even when you think about it, why do guys like big titties, right? Like the concept of sucking a woman's titty comes from a child, right? You sort of, you don't remember sucking your mom's titties, but you remember the emotional experience, right? And whenever you're doing that with a woman as a man, deep down, you're thinking of her as a mom or your mother's children. And also, a part of you likes it. It's almost like there is, oh my gosh, she's hot, but the next level deep down is, oh my God, this she will make a perfect mother. Or, oh my God, it's almost like I'm a kid sucking my mom's titties. Like, it sounds crazy, but it's almost like those are the awkward thoughts that unconsciously go through most people that we just don't address it. I notice these types of things. So it brings out the dark side in your partner, right? So sometimes a person could be normal, but when they fall in love, another side comes out, right? Because naturally, we're usually controlling ourselves. Naturally, we're usually under control, right? But when we fall in love, we're able to let go of the mask, and we're able to become a little bit more irrational. We're able to escape reality through irrationality. So some people, as a result, become controlling because those emotions are so good they want to hold on to it no matter what. So something happens which is called mate guarding. Mate guarding is natural, guarding your mate, right? Making sure that fucking Tyrone, the personal trainer, doesn't bang your girl, right? So what do, right? Most men's solution has been mate guarding. And it's been so successful that it's wired in men to be super fucking out of this world jealous with their woman. But some guys go too far. Some dudes get very controlling. It happens because this is why it happens, because the threat of losing your girl or man to another partner is there. Why? Because it happens. 50% of women say they've been poached by another man. In other words, men have said, leave your partner for me, right? And 60% of men, right? I'm actually 50% of women and 60% of men have attempted to steal a partner from somebody else. And the thing is that half of the time it succeeds. Around 85% of men and 85% of women admitted to being tempted into being poached. 45% of men and 30% of women said they've been taken away by a mate poacher. 1/3 of poachers succeed. This is inside most humans because it's successful, right? So that's why it's natural for a man to assume that somebody could take you, because history has been littered by it. We can't blame him for it. The issue is that there is guarding you and then there's controlling you, all right? Now, but why does poaching happen? Poaching happens because of, one, revenge. Somebody may not like you, right? Somebody may be jealous of what you have. And also, it secures access to pre-approved mates, right? In other words, since you like him, most likely he's not a murderer. Most likely he's not a rapist. Most likely he has some money. So let me take her. right? Or a woman could say, if you pick, or a man can say, if you picked her, most likely she's been vetted by you, right? As opposed to just vetting some random girl. So that there's more likelihood that they're higher value because they're taken. And that's why when you're taken, you're actually more attractive because it pretty much says you qualify. You're like pre-qualified, right? The risk that the poacher risk is violence and loss of reputation. And once they get a reputation of being a poacher, and once they get somebody who they poached, once they successfully poached a person, now they have to work even harder to protect them from other people. Because one, this person has a history of letting themselves be taken, and two, other people want them just like you wanted them as well, right? So mate guarding is even more expensive for the most part, right? So the next thing happens is that how it changes your partner falling in love is that it also could turn them murderers, right? If you really think about it, because of a woman, not a woman, but because of love, falling in love, I don't blame it because of women, but falling in love was what started the Trojan War, right? And also, most women are not murdered by random people. Most women are murdered by their partner who are jealous, right? So it brings out that dark side in men. And also, it makes them change for the worse when they fall in love. And people in general, they lose a sense of purpose, right? When a lot of people fall in love, they can be focused. But when they're out of love, but when they fall in love, they lose their sense of purpose. Their dark side comes out. Their lazy part comes out. They stop working out. They stop trying to impress. They stop trying to get more money to get a better career, right? What happens is that falling in love became the destination and not the journey. They said, I finally arrived. Now I'm going to stop trying, right? And that actually makes your partner get turned off and it pushes them away. So that's one thing, is that sometimes what you found in this person, when you found them, they were attracted because what made them attractive was their insecurity. Once they fall in love, they feel secure, and all of a sudden they drop why they were doing it, right? It wasn't a journey for them. It was just a destination. All of a sudden they become unattractive, all right? And that's why a lot of people lose interest. When you fall in love, don't stop trying. Always feel like you're behind the wheel. The third thing that happens when you fall in love is that falling in love requires, which is negative, which is not easy, requires pain and a fear of loss. In order to make somebody fall in love, they need to feel some kind of anxiety. You see, naturally, emotions mix in our minds. You see, everything in nature is interrelated, right? If you could mix water, if you could mix smells, you could also mix emotions. For example, if you notice that the way that you think, you're able to think about things that don't exist. That's what makes human thinking and human processing so unique. Not only are we able, this prefrontal cortex allows us to not only think about what doesn't exist, but allows us to sense things that don't exist. You're able to smell a smell you never smelled before. Notice how you're able to think of an image you never seen before. You see an image of that in your mind, but for some reason, you don't see it, but you sort of see it at the same time. That's the ability to create fiction in your mind and through images. This also happens with all of your other senses. So your sight has a mental representation of sight, but also your smelling has a mental representation of smelling. Combine the smell of orange and chocolate. Try to smell how that smells. Try to imagine how that smells of orange and chocolate. You could sort of combine it, right? Isn't that crazy? Imagining smelling that smell through combination is the same thing as imagining an image. Or imagining touching a rock that's soft. That's the same thing. You're using your senses to imagine something that doesn't exist. So the same with emotions. You could combine emotions to create new emotions, right? You could combine loving somebody and the fear of knowing that one day they're going to die. And that feeling creates intense love. An intensity of love that is really uncontrollable. But the problem is that the positive emotion of I love you and the negative emotion of I could lose you doesn't create a positive emotion. It creates an undertone of a negative emotion. Why? Because a positive and a negative still equals a negative, right? A negative integer and a positive integer will always equal a negative integer. 1 plus -1 always equals -1. Happy emotions plus a negative emotion will always equal a negative emotion. It's just how it is, right? And so when you fall in love, they need to feel that negative emotions because that negative emotion of I don't want to lose you is the love. Is what keeps you going back. Now, once you have them, the oxytocin you feel is what allows you to appreciate them. But the fear of loss, which is you have your dopamine, which is your cortisol, is what keeps you bounded to them, right? So most people have that negative emotion. Most people have that, and that negative emotion is felt through anxiety. Every person that you're with who loves you deep down is afraid of losing you. Deep down, they're in secret, in silent desperation, but they just don't show it. You don't see that your partner is dying to not lose you. They're desperate. They're desperate that this works out forever. This is why when someone seems to lose control of their emotions towards you, right? No, that's why when somebody seems way too much in control, way too patient with you, takes a long time to text back, forgets they had dates with you. That's why a lot of times when that happens, it's either one, they're faking it, or two, they don't like you. Because when you like somebody, those emotions could be so intense that if you actually manage to control it, you're a fucking Zen master. For the most part, when they are too in control with you, usually means they don't like you or they're a deep narcissist. Better to just leave those people. Because the pain is what's going to make them lose control. The fear of pain is what's going to make them lose control. Tell me where the money is. Fuck you, nigga. I'll never tell you. If you don't tell me what the money is, I'm going to cut your balls off. Tell me what the money is. Oh my God, it's right there. It's right there. Right. It's what motivates you. It's what brings the emotions. It's what makes you lose control. It's what breaks you down. Right? So nobody who's in love should be in control unless they've been with you for many years, which I understand, which causes them to be a little complacent. But at the same time, when they know that they're really gonna lose you, they're gonna lose control. Why? Because pain is what bonds people. All right. A war bonds people. Going through suffering bonds people. If you go through war with your friends and you guys make it out alive, you guys will be better friends. All right. The pain of losing somebody is what makes them love you. The pain of losing somebody is what makes you focus on them more. Pain is the ultimate motivator, not love and pleasure. Fear of pain is what creates the compulsive thinking, not the love they have for you. Naturally, love always, for the most part, ends in pain because one day it's gonna end. That's another dark side of falling in love, is that it will always end. That sounds so negative, man. Jesus Christ. Right? Love will always end in pain. If you have a dog, it starts with love and ends in pain. Right? You have your mom, it starts with love, it ends in pain. That is the end of it. That is the natural progression of love. Happiness and pain. Naturally, everyone, yeah, right? So the next thing is that you lose a sense of purpose when you're in love, right? A lot of people stop hanging out with their friends. A lot of people become isolated. A lot of people stop trying, like I said earlier, and that actually makes them lose what they worked for the most part. And that's the dark side of falling in love, people. You have to be careful who you fall in love with also, right? Because when you fall in love, you get blinded. You stop seeing the person for who they are. You start projecting your fantasies onto them. You stop seeing them for who they are, and you just start seeing whatever fantasy that you have. A lot of us have our archetypes of the type of person that we want to love. A lot of us imagine that we want a guy with beard, big, muscular. So any guy that you see who fits that bill, you're going to project traits onto them that fits it. For example, when we think of nerdy people, we have certain traits about them that we assume, right? When we think of athletes, we have a certain way that we think that they act. So when we meet somebody, if we're not really paying attention to them, we're gonna imagine that we're seeing what we assume they are. You get what I'm trying to say? So when you have a mental projection of what an attractive partner is, and somebody visually looks like that mental projection, you're also going to assume they have those internal traits, and ignore the real traits that they have. That's called projection. And when it blinds you, and it's what detaches you from reality, where somebody will see that this person is a narcissist, but because you have so much intense projection out of your desperation to find happiness, you don't see the person, and you get manipulated, and you begin to see the world through a squinted gaze of fog of emotions made out of love. When in reality, that fog of emotions was really destroying you inside. You got to get out of that, start seeing the person for who they are, and see reality. And I have a bunch of videos that talk about that because this video is already long enough. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm doing a seminar in California, LA, and in Florida, in August. Purchase the tickets on the description down below to get your tickets. It's about social intelligence, all right? Purchase it now. It's going to be a one-day seminar. You can check out the dates on the description down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay. Oh, no, not here, people. Don't go there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I want you guys to check out my new course called Nice Girl. It's available for purchase right now, okay? This course I specifically made for women who consider themselves nice, for women who are too forgiving, for women who let other people guilt trip them easily, for women who always give people the benefit of the doubt but always end up getting played. This course will teach you about people's actual manipulations, about the strategies that people use to extort from you, to take from you without you getting anything in return. Because nice people are in abundance in the world. And nice people, unfortunately, if they allow their nature to guide their lives, they will become bitter because they'll end up seeing that their niceness never leads to anything. So the goal of being a nice person is to get people to like you. But sometimes it has actual backward effects. Like it actually creates what you're trying to avoid. So this course will teach nice girls how to get what they want through being more assertive, how to express themselves, how to not get played, how to identify manipulation, how to reverse manipulation. So if you're somebody who's always had that consistently in their lives, who are always people pleaser, who are always being passive aggressive, this course will teach you how to communicate all of those things that you want to communicate with people without getting played, okay? I'll teach you how to be more assertive. I'll teach you how to identify disrespect, because when you're a nice person, you have a hard time understanding when people are being disrespectful because you're seeing the world through insecurity. You want to be liked, and so when somebody doesn't like you, you sort of twist it around in a weird way. So I show you how to see disrespect. I show you how to stand up for yourself. I show you how to deter aggressors. I show you how to avoid sending signs of weakness, and how to send signs of strength, right? And I even show you a meditation on how to become more assertive. Check it out. It's a course that it's not a super long course because I made it that length for a reason. I don't want to overburden you with too much information. This is just straight to the point. If you watch this course, you will get the results. This is not a 5-hour course, okay? This is like a 2.5-hour course. So I think it's 2 hours or something like that. And the reason why that is because it's straight to the point. Okay, so if you watch that course, do what the videos say. You will, over time, overcome your niceness. Okay, purchase it now. In the description down below, you'll see where it says "Purchase Nice Girl." It's only $99, and there's a 30-day money back guarantee. No questions asked. You'll get your money back. Okay, because if you don't get it back, I'm closing the channel. That's for sure. All right, so I'll see you guys inside, and I hope you guys enjoy that course.